I think we're going to start calling this Compassion Wednesday because every Wednesday on the show, we are joined by our friends and partners at Compassion UK. They're the official breakfast show sponsor, don't you know? And this morning, we've got Tim. Can I share the story that you were telling me about the radiator next to you, or is that not allowed for the radio, do you think?
Well, it depends if you want to lose a lot of your listeners, Gareth. So I'll leave that
Let's
with
move
you.
on. So Tim is from Compassion. If you don't know what Compassion do, then just explain to us, Tim, what is it all about?
Yeah, Compassion is an international child development organization. It's been going for well over 70 years now. It's basically reaching some of the poorest of the poor, focusing on children, giving them a hope and a future, looking at their practical, their educational, their health, physical, social, emotional, and spiritual needs, and seeking to lift them out of poverty and to see them have a hope and a future, really, and their families too. So it's so exciting. 2.2 million kids currently registered on over 8,000 projects, all overseen by local churches in 27 developing nations. So that's who we are. That's what we do, and a lot more besides.
2 million children are having a future and a bright future and hope because of the support that you give Compassion already. Now, if you'd like to find out more, maybe you'd like to sponsor a child, and we will be delving a little bit deeper into this in the next few weeks because I'm not going to mention what we're doing because I don't think Tim's had confirmation from his manager yet, but we're going to be doing something in April, which will hopefully be very, very exciting. And we can't wait to share that with you. But compassionuk.org is where you need to head to. And there are a lot of comparisons with Compassion and the Good Samaritan, which is what we're going to be talking about today, Tim. So set the scene for us, please.
Yeah, sure. I love the story of the Good Samaritan, Gareth. And I think that, even if you're not really a person of faith or read the Bible, probably most people have heard the story of the Good Samaritan. It was a story that Jesus told, in answer to a question about, who is my neighbor? And he was basically saying, well, anybody is your neighbor. Look out for anybody, the poor, the needy, people who are vulnerable. And I guess that is a real kind of challenge to us right now in society and the days in which we live. But basically, the story is that a guy goes on a journey, and on the journey, and it's quite a dangerous route, really, between Jerusalem and Jericho. And he gets beaten up, he gets robbed, and he's left for dead on the floor, and he's basically, he needs a neighbor, he needs a friend. And so 3 guys come along, one by one, and the first one is a priest. Now, he's a religious man. He sees him, but he kind of passes by on the other side. He doesn't want to get involved, really, and I guess he's late for the temple. He's got things that he needs to do, but I'm sure he actually prayed, send somebody else. Well, somebody else did come along, and this guy was a Levite. Now, the Levites were responsible for all like the sacrifices in the temple. And the problem with the Levite was that he would already have started the ceremonial sacrificial washings and everything that qualified him to make the sacrifices at the temple. So he didn't want to touch the blood or get corrupted. So he sees him, and he passes by on the other side as well. Well, and the third guy comes along, and this guy is a Samaritan. Now, the Samaritans and the Jews had nothing to do with each other. They hated each other. And the guy who's beaten up is a Jew. And so this Samaritan has every reason to pass by this Jew as he's lying on the floor. But he responds differently to the priest and to the Levite. Martin Luther King, he said this, that the first question that the priest and the Levite asked was, if I stop and help this man, what will happen to me? But it's like the Samaritan kind of reversed the question. And he said, if I don't stop and help this man, what will happen to him? And that's a really good question to ask, isn't it, in life today? If we don't stop and get involved, if we don't help those who are vulnerable, those who are broken, those who are on the margins of society or in desperate need, what will happen to them? We have a responsibility each one of us, don't we? God said, I want you to love me, but I want you to love others as well. And Jesus tells this story to illustrate what it means to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, with all your mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And for Christians, I think that that is a discipleship issue. And I think that there's some things that we can learn from that, Gareth.
It's interesting because it can be so easy, can't it, to when you see somebody in need, you can start going over your own situations and thinking, well, I may not be able to donate money this time because, I've got to take the car in for the MOT, which are legitimate things. But like you said, we shouldn't just be leaving it up to other people and thinking, I'm sure they can do it. Or somebody who's a bit wealthier than me, they'll be able to fill that gap. And it can be a challenge to everybody, not just Christians, of actually, can you help your brother, your sister? So maybe today, this is your call. Maybe they call it in the industry a call to action. And maybe this, us speaking, me and Tim, is your call to action where you're thinking, I want to do my bit. I want to make sure that these children have a future. They can be educated, they can be fed, and they can actually. And we've shared over recent weeks about when we say that they can have a future, there are some incredible stories of graduates who have had this amazing future and are now giving back to other children. But what I want you to do right now is to head over to the Compassion website, which is compassionuk.org. And on there, what you'll see is there's a link to sponsor a child. And you click that, you can then see the children who need your support. They need your love and they need your sponsorship. For example, there is a little boy here called Liam, who's 2 years old from Peru. He's been waiting for 6 months. You've also got Jennifer, who's from the Dominican Republic. She's 7 and she's been waiting for 4 months. And all these children need you so that they can have a future. So it could be right now, it could be you who is being called to help. You could be that Good Samaritan. And Tim, you sponsor children already personally, and you've shared with us about that. And I was talking to, it's really funny, and it should come as no surprise that I speak to a lot of people on the radio, but also I have a lot of meetings. And I love it when people say, I already sponsor a child, and they'll be from other organizations. Do you get that quite a lot where people, you say, I'm from Compassion UK, and they say, I've been sponsoring a child for such amount of time.
Yes, in fact, just last week I was at a lovely Chinese church in Milton Keynes, and we were sat around the table, and it was actually a kind of mission headquarters for the Chinese church. And a lady said to me, she said, I've been sponsoring a child for the last 10 years. And so, yeah, wherever I go, people are sponsoring children. And sometimes, it is through other organizations. And we are so thrilled by that. We're so excited to hear that people are doing something, whether it's with compassion or not. We just want to make sure that these kids are getting the best opportunity in life. So we appreciate all our sponsors and those who are investing in children.
And you could be one of those sponsors, those people investing in children. The website to go to, do it right now. Don't put it off. Don't think, I'll do it later after tea when it's a bit quieter. Do it right now. At least have a look. compassionuk.org. Thank you very much, Tim, and God bless.
Thanks so much, Gareth. See you again.